3, 2, 1. Hi guys, and welcome back to Nail On Sunday podcast. My name is Chris, and I'm here with my beautiful wife and gorgeous co-host, Rebecca.
I was wondering where you were going when you said "and."
So was I. I was just thinking, how can I get this in? How can I segue this in real nice? Welcome to Nail On Sunday.
Tune in Nail On Sunday, all the tea getting spilled. Nail text, talking game, keeping it real, y'all gon' feel. From the signs to the drama, every secret they reveal. Stay sharp, stay tuned, man, you know it's the deal.
So there we go. That was a live intro. So it's either worked out absolutely perfect.
So we've not edited that song at all or done anything with it. We just
Not
keep
time.
it. No, we have not. We have not had time at all.
In this week's show, we're going to talk about how professionals and non-professionals buy their products.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about should gel products be available to non-professionals essentially.
But before we get into that, let's get into what we have been up to over the last... I think it's been 3 or 4 weeks since we've actually recorded a pod. I know by the magic of editing and time that you guys have seen and heard. What's happened? Okay,
So much. I'm so tired.
start with Dakota.
I'm so tired.
Let's start with Dakota.
Dakota had his hip replacement. That was 2 weeks ago. Today.
Wow. Time flies.
Only 2 weeks ago. I know. Why is it not 3 or 4 weeks? It went relatively well, although we had to drive back down south as an emergency the Monday afterwards because his leg wasn't quite right, but everything is fine. But it has been complete and utter hell on earth, has it not?
How's our sleeping pattern?
So we're taking it in turns every night to sleep on a blow-up mattress in the kitchen beside the dog. And last night was my night, so I am very tired. He was up 3 or 4 times.
I feel quite fresh. I will say one thing. That blow-up bed,
It's very comfortable.
it's the bed of dreams.
It's not the bed of dreams, no.
No, I have dreams on that
Oh,
bed.
okay. I had crazy dreams too, but I think it's because you're not properly asleep. I think you're in a very light sleep. I don't think it's anything to do with that specific bed. I think it's to do with the fact that you're not in your bed. You're beside the dog who's constantly making noises, and it's a little bit cold down there.
So the dog had a cone on, just get that off, which
Thank
every time he would do a spin in the crate, it would do
Like playing the xylophone.
like type of thing. And we have a refrigerator right between that and him. And the other night, it sounded like aliens had went into the fridge and decided to eat every popsicle in there. I didn't know if it was something to do with the fridge, freezer, ice cubes, or somebody was trying to steal the car out front. I was panicking all this. And I'd said to Rebecca the next morning, I thought maybe somebody was trying to break into the car last night.
Put it on casters.
Put it on casters. It sounded really, really weird. What I neglected to say was there was 4 customer orders in there that UPS hadn't collected on Friday. So I tried to take to a UPS drop-off store, which they wouldn't take because it's Black Friday weekend. And it was thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds worth in the van. And I just left it unlocked.
That's great. That's good for insurance, isn't it?
Great.
Perfect. So yeah, it's been pretty hellish. There's not been a huge amount of sleep, especially for those first few nights because one of us was sleeping downstairs, but the other one would come down to help in the night.
Yeah. Help. Creep up on people. Same thing.
It's been a lot. He's had an issue with his bum.
Oh, let's not talk about his bum
And his balls.
Let's not talk about that on the podcast. Okay, so
So we had that. Then we've had Black Friday.
Black Friday. Dear God, you guys are fiend is the only word that I
I'm
can
so
use.
tired.
We've been packing for 5 days straight now. We're actually here just to get some rest, really. We're actually in the podcast studio to get some rest from packing. Thousands of orders have left. Do you know what? I'll actually say one thing. DPD have been actually excellent this Black Friday. They've laid on 3 vans yesterday, came to pick stuff up.
Empty vans.
Empty vans just came and they're like, just fill it, it's fine, just fill it.
So that was really good.
Which has helped us out massively. Whereas before the last couple of Black Fridays, maybe those orders been done, but they've had no room in the van. It's just been a regular guy, and you don't want to give him more than, let's say, 300-400 because he's only supposed to be taking a couple of hundred max. You know, so DPD have been really good. The staff, if you guys are listening to this, I know you don't, but if you have, most of you have been really good.
Mostly. Yeah, it's been a lot, hasn't it?
I'll hold my hands up. I think I've let the team down this Black Friday.
You did. I'm not going to try and make you feel better about it because
You've not made me feel
No.
better at all in any way, shape, or form.
Because if it's something that I do, I get it all the time that I haven't ordered this or I haven't ordered that or we told you. I'm like, you definitely didn't tell me. But long story short, Chris neglected to ensure that we had enough. So he's in charge of everything to do with the warehouse. He neglected to ensure that we had enough packing peanuts and the most popular size of box. So it's been really, really difficult.
We didn't run out of packing peanuts, thankfully, but we did have to do some dodgy shifting on a Saturday to get some.
Yeah.
The boxes have been a calamity, so that's me on me. That was a trombone. You can't hear it, but that was a trombone.
Big problem. Anyway, you live and you learn.
You do.
All because he was trying to save a few pennies.
I was waiting for. I know you guys like probably buy TVs and Barbie dolls and stuff on Black Friday.
Barbie dolls.
I don't know.
Sure.
DVDs or Blu-ray, maybe. I
DVDs.
buy myself packing boxes. As we discussed in the last pod, where you was it the last pod, one before? Yeah, where to save money on Black Friday deals. What we try and do here at Nail Order is we try and buy things like packing materials that don't make us any money in any way, shape, or form. Actually, just cost us money. We try and get them as cheap as possible. And our supplier normally do a 10% off. They just didn't do it. So yeah,
That's a really annoying thing. I was thinking about this the other day, that for us, we don't get any Black Friday savings for our business.
not really. No.
Whereas if you're like a nail tech or a salon owner, you can make so many savings, but our suppliers don't do anything at all.
Have you got any Black Friday deals at all, like personal? I did. I take a supplement and I got 25% off, which is mental. So I just got 10 weeks worth. I have a dodgy shoulder, so I got something for that.
No, I don't think so. I got some, there was like ASOS, but let's be honest, ASOS has like 20% off every second week anyway.
I looked for a MacBook for one of the members of staff, but it's just...
I thought the deals were really crappy actually this year. It was really. I went on to look for a pair of UGG slippers for my sister. Couldn't get them on a deal. Anyway, UGG didn't have any deals. They had deals on stuff that doesn't sell.
Yeah.
Whereas
to me, that's a year-end sale.
I
thing.
expected like Black Friday to be like across the board. You're getting a sale across the board, even if it's just 10%.
The packing company that we use, they had special offers on, 25% off, but it was off boxes that, I mean, I guess some people use them, but they were like really obscure, like wine bottle boxes.
It's going to be things that like they've got hundreds of in stock and they're trying to shift.
Yeah. So I would say this year, I think I was let down by Black Friday, other than what happened with us. Dear God, man. That was a wild ride.
Next up, Easter.
Oh, God.
Doesn't feel like enough time between Black Friday and Easter.
It's not, because it's only 5 months. Whereas it's 7 months between Easter and Black Friday. All right, so we sold a heck of a ton of gel polishes.
So what I did earlier, what I was doing when you walked in, was I was doing a roundup of our top 10 most popular colours that we sold over Black Friday weekend.
Okay, go on then. I mean, we should technically save that for the year-end podcast, but let's go now.
Okay, so I'll try and remember them.
Let me try and guess some.
Okay,
I did
go.
I did a lot of picking. Caliente,
Yes?
Smoke and Timber.
Nope.
Oh,
Interesting, I know, because I feel like I was picking timber in every order, but anyway.
what do you call it? Cinnamon.
Nope.
I do.
Yes.
Glass slipper.
Yes.
Luby Glitz.
Yes. That was number one. Luby Glitz was the number one
Was
bestseller.
it? Did you know we almost technically sold out online, even though there was a new stock coming? It's just not been put back in stock. It's a long thing, but anyway.
Great,
Yeah.
good.
Come on, give me some others.
Black Ice, Auburn, Pink Fizz, Forest, Cabernet, Empress.
Empress was the one I was thinking about there. I don't even think of the names anymore. I just think of the location.
Same,
Yeah,
same.
you just go straight to that shelf, scan.
Yep.
Oh, your Mackie packs. I have discovered why I hate them now.
Okay, go.
Because I'm a visual person. So, for instance, the colour sky.
Okay,
I
'cause
know
it's
that
hit-
that's a
it's-
sky blue.
Okay.
If the shelf is eye level or above, our shelves are probably 2 meters tall.
Okay, but see the front of the Mackie pack, you could just fold the front down or cut the front off. Cut a little hole in it.
I'll need to think of something better. You know how Aldi have those little screens that tell you the price?
Change.
Yeah, I want a screen on mine.
Okay,
Can't
that's a
afford
little bit complicated, so.
So, how are we going to get into this?
Well, you know what? Let's just break it down first. Let's break it down about legalities.
Okay.
Okay. We're so tired. Okay, so let's go for legalities. I mean, technically, our gel polish, our Builder Gel, most of our products technically can be sold to the general consumer who have no professional qualifications.
You said legalities. Is there really like a governing body for this?
Well, there's not a governing body, but the rules state, or you know, the
From whom?
the guidelines, the regulations from the commission.
Yeah. But those guys, they don't care.
Is anybody chasing it up? The answer is no. Nobody seems to be chasing it up because technically you cannot sell products that contain HEMA or DiHEMA to people who are non-professionals.
Right, okay.
So that is a technicality. And also you can't sell products that contain over 35% HEMA or over 99% DiHEMA.
Total. Full stop.
Well, yeah, you can't sell them to anybody.
Anybody.
But there are restrictions on those two chemicals specifically.
Okay. So, for instance, most websites that are professional only you go onto, you have to submit things like your qualifications to prove a point. There are other websites like TikTok and Amazon where you don't have to. So, I would like to just explain to the listeners at home, just in case that you're not an nail tech or you've never signed up to a website like this, what is the process for our point of view, our perspective?
So for our website, we always knew that we wanted to be professional only, and there needed to be a way of people providing their qualifications before they would get access to the website. We played around with different options to begin with. Did we want people to be able to see the prices or not, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But always people had to be professionals to sign up. So it's very simple. We have a plugin on our website. People fill in the form. They provide a picture and image of their qualifications, and then it goes for approval.
It's pretty straightforward to do. It doesn't
straightforward.
really take a lot of effort. So realistically, if you're a professional, it's super streamlined.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make you jump through hoops or anything like that.
We're also, we can appreciate as well that people, even myself included, if you've been qualified for nails for a really long time, can I even find a nail certificate? No, I can't. So you can use other things to provide a proof of trade as well, such as your insurance is a perfect one. If you're operating, you will have insurance. If you don't, get it. So your insurance will also provide that as well.
Yeah.
Proof of trade.
And to be clear, the people who are going through these sign-ups are people who are in the industry, so they know what to look for. They know what type of insurance documents to look for. Even if they turn around and said, like, this is a qualification from like 1979 or something like that, and it was I can't even remember what they're called then, O levels, A levels, something like that, or the equivalent of some sort of gel, so they will know what it is to make it, again, super streamlined, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the next type of website?
The next type of website, right, so there's a website where you have to provide your trade, physical proof of trade. Then the next sort of website, I would say a tier down or a level down, is you have to tick a box to say you're a professional. Now, in my opinion, again, just my opinion, you might as well have absolutely nothing on there at all.
Yes.
Absolutely nothing. Because anybody can tick that. Anybody is going to tick it. At the end of the day, see all these boxes that we tick, you have agreed to our terms and conditions and stuff like that. Does anybody even read these things?
No, they do not.
I don't read things when it says, tick to confirm you've read the terms and conditions, or I've ticked it, but I've not read anything. So there's almost no point in having it, is there?
Yeah.
And then you've got websites that don't have any tick boxes whatsoever. But again, with the tick box exercise, there's no point. There's really no point, is there?
Do you think that's for like a legality type of thing?
Oh, I'm going to say something controversial.
We'd be pod if you didn't, would it?
Okay, so what I'm going to say is I think that would be a company, this is just my opinion, there's no reason for them not to have the lock on their website where you have to have, it's a very easy plugin. Most brands actually tend to work on the same platform.
Yeah.
So if we have access to it, they have access to it. And I reckon it's simply because they want to they want to look like they're doing their part, and they want to look like they're saying, we only sell to professionals, but they also want to be able to get all of the sales. Because from a business point of view, doing what we do, we'll get into this further later, I think, it makes absolutely no sense. It's not a good business move to restrict yourself like that. Obviously, as a business, you want to be as available to as many people as possible. That is good business practice.
Yeah.
But it's not particularly ethical, is what my opinion is.
So that's the three main type of websites, and we're referring to everything as websites here. I know there's physical stores, which we'll go into in a little bit in a second.
So websites is everything. So that might be TikTok, eBay, Amazon, brands.
Well, that was going to go into a slightly different. So yeah, so you've got like your brand websites or your wholesaler websites, and then you have what I would call easy access e-com websites, like Amazon or like TikTok. Now, they don't have any checks in place.
None.
They don't give a rat's ass.
No. So from a business point of view, I'll tell you how TikTok works. So from a business point of view, we can use TikTok in two different ways. You can either integrate it into your platform, the same platform I talked about earlier that most of us run our websites on, or you can just have it set up separately. Ours is currently set up separately because when we first set up our TikTok shop, number one, the integration wasn't smooth and it was really, really complicated. And number two, you couldn't seem to select specific items to list. And obviously we have some items that are available on TikTok Shop that anybody can buy because you don't need to be a professional to buy it, like an apron as an example, or a big cuticle oil or a big hand sanitizer. Don't need to be a professional to use that. We couldn't pick out those items that were okay to be sold to people. So we were like, no, at this time, we could see that eventually it was going to work with the integration, but it wasn't working for us then. So now we hope to be able to integrate it. So it is completely within a brand's control now, whether it's integrated or not, to choose which items they have for sale via TikTok Shop.
Okay, what about Amazon?
I mean, Amazon, I don't know. Is there an integration for that? I imagine no.
There is in the US, there is not here in the UK. It's not as simple and streamlined as that.
You just have to upload
a
your
seller centre, essentially, where you go, kind of like eBay back in the day.
You upload your items.
Yeah, and you can do it from there. In fact, there's actually better integration onto eBay.
I mean, I think Amazon is a very, very scary place in terms of what you can get for how cheap. And something I think Chris is going to allude to, I don't know. So this morning, actually, somebody had sent into the group chat about, it was a response to a TikTok question or something somebody had said on TikTok about a year ago. And it was somebody who's saying, we were talking about our big boy kit, and they said, oh, that's ridiculously expensive, 100 colours for £1,200.
Yeah. On
Amazon, you can get it for
100 colours for £100.
100 colours for £100.
I remember when that first came around last year, and at that point in time, I wouldn't say, well, allergies were such a big thing. So there was a big talking point in the industry, but especially for us at Nail Order, people were like, geez, man, you actually can get it. You know, we hadn't been onto it. And we went on and we checked it out. And then, yeah, there is tons of like gel polish.
It's crazy.
Cheap.
I'll tell you something about it in a minute, though, in terms of quality and safety. But this person who had commented this a year ago had then re-commented this morning saying that, what did she say? Essentially, she's rebranded to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was a bitch. She called herself a bitch.
Yeah,
like
she
that.
did.
I only breezed by it this morning in the comments, but everyone was like, well done, her.
Yeah, well done, her.
It's a two-parter. She basically said that she was a complete bitch. She can't believe that she'd waited a year to rebrand to Nail Order. She was the one that commented about this Amazon thing. So in that time, you can see that's actual physical growth of a person right there, which 100%. Is unreal.
But I look back at my own personal journey as a salon owner and things that I believed back then. The lamp thing, perfect example. Oh, a lamp's a lamp, blah, blah, blah. Gel polish is a gel polish, etc., etc. It's just not true. And you only know if you know. If you have the experience of a gel polish, which is 100 for £100, and you've used one of them, versus say our gel polish, which is still very, very reasonable in the industry, and especially for the quality. And it's the same with lamps. You only know if you've had the cheap lamp and the expensive lamp. You only know the difference then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We can say to a blue in the face, just trust us. But you only know if you've tried them.
And that's the thing. It comes down to reviews, experience, and in her case, just being the bigger person, just admitting when, not necessarily that she was wrong, but she made a mistake and she was like, I can't believe that. It's for me. I just want to go gift her a big boy kit. Please don't hold me to that. Don't hold me to that. But that's the type of person I love. Someone who understands, they get it, but they've been down both avenues.
And they can... Somebody else did that recently, a customer, and I was like, what was that? And somebody just took like proper accountability for something. Anyway, I was going to say about the 100 for 100 and the cheap brands that you get on Amazon. So I'll let you guys into a secret. So sometimes when I am lost for ideas, what?
You purchase it?
I purchase it, yeah. So I'm probably actually adding to the problem. So when I am lost for ideas in terms of trying to create new colours of gels and stuff like that, and I need a little bit of inspiration, I will go onto Amazon and I will buy these cheap packs of colours, not to ever use on a human being. They never get any further than a swatch stick, but literally just for colour inspiration. And then I might use them to mix colours, because quite honestly, it's cheaper for us to use that than it is to use our own. That is how cheap this stuff is. We don't even buy our products as cheap as we can buy them from Amazon for. It's crazy. But there are so many things I notice about them. Number one, the curing situation. There's no instructions on what lamps you should use, and they crinkle up half the time. Number two, the sheerness. They're just like watery crap. I couldn't imagine having to actually apply that to a customer to get like a decent solid colour. Like how many coats you would be at. You'd be wasting so much time. And remember, time is money. And also the ingredients. So the last lot I bought was a couple of different brands, and it was just a kit of, I don't know, 36, 12s, whatever. They had henna in them. So they're illegally being sold. That you can't sell that to non-professionals. And just the rest of the ingredients are terrifying, absolutely terrifying, that at-home users are applying that to their nails, probably getting it on the skin, probably overfiling their nails, getting down to that intermediate layer where the skin can absorb those particles, and probably just slowly giving themselves a reaction.
It's wild to think that is just, it's normal.
Like anybody can just go on, anybody. There's no, it's just, it is, that to me is absolutely crazy. Do I fundamentally believe that these products, gels, should be sold to professionals only? Absolutely. Now, a lot of people out there are probably going, it's just gel. And I think you'll probably fall into two different camps as a nail tech. And I could probably safely say that I've probably been in both camps. When I was a salon owner, before we had the brand, and I was a lot less educated than I am now. Obviously, I've done a huge amount of research, huge amount of educating myself, because the science is really interesting to me, but also really important to us as a brand. I would probably be one of them and be like, oh, let people do what they want to do. If they want to buy it, like, what's the harm? It's just nails. That's probably what I would have thought. But knowing what I know now, there can be such a knock-on effect on your health if you develop an allergy to one of these acrylates. If you needed a medical device implanted, if you needed certain orthopedic procedures, certain dental procedures, all sorts of things, it could affect you in the future, because you might then not be able to get these things done, which could then ultimately affect your health negatively. I guess the closest thing that you can compare it to is people doing their own hair at home.
Yes, that's a good show.
Do you know what I mean?
And I was going to get into that more with salon services, but yeah, that's a good one.
It's kind of maybe a segue. So people doing their own hair at home, yes, they can cause a huge amount of damage to their hair. But is it going to result in an allergy in the same way that the nails can from overexposure? It's not quite the same thing. Obviously, you can absolutely have an allergic reaction to hair dye, and you can have a far more severe allergic reaction. People die from anaphylaxis from a hair dye. But it is a very different sort of situation in terms of overexposure that we're talking about, and undercured product that we're talking about with nails to hair.
Would you say that when it comes to hair, if you have a reaction, obviously you're told to do a tint test or a patch test.
Patch test.
When it comes to hair, it's very sudden and instant, and it's right in your face, whereas with nails, it's more a gradual thing.
As in, you know that you're having a reaction.
Yeah,
I mean,
slightly under the radar with nails, because it could be an evolution. It could be happening over a couple of different
I would say
weeks, months.
it tends to. Yeah, if you're going to have a reaction, I mean, you know, somebody might give me information on this that because I'm not a hairdresser, so I don't know. But from my understanding, and obviously we had the hair salon ourselves, you're going to know if you've got a reaction to it. You know, it's not going to be like a slight redness or a slight lifting of a nail or whatever on one nail. You know, your whole head is generally going to be affected. Your breathing might be affected. You might have a rash on your body, etc. Like you said, it's going to be more noticeable. Whereas with the nails, it can be a lot more of a slow process.
Gradual.
Also, with the hair to the nails, it's not going to negatively affect you in terms of your future medical needs, in terms of implant devices and orthopedics and dental things. It's not going to affect you with hair dye like it will with nails. We're not talking about acrylates. The allergen that people most commonly react to is PPD in hair dyes. So yeah, it's a very, very different thing. And whilst we definitely would also not condone at-home hair dyeing because you're going to damage your hair, you will damage your hair. And if you don't do it properly, you don't test properly, you could, of course, have an allergic reaction. I think there is more risk, a lot more risk when it comes to the nails than there is to the hair for your general health.
So we'll segue on to salon service in a second, but we'll stay just with Amazon just for something real quick. When you purchase, do you notice brand names, or is it brands that nobody's ever heard of? They just come, they just sell these things on Amazon?
Both.
Right.
Both. Not brand names like our type of brand name. Does that make sense? They're more like foreign brand names, as in not UK-based brand names.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen any like UK-based brand names on Amazon. No.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah. So I think what we're probably looking at, I I can't be sure of this, but this would be my inclination, that the products that we are looking at on Amazon were probably coming direct from the manufacturer. So they'll be based in China. There'll be white label companies that brands can go to and get products made with, but they are probably selling their own line under that name.
Yeah,
that's for the price. That is the only thing that really makes any level of sense.
No real middleman.
No middleman, full stop. They're just going straight to market.
Okay. Do you remember when we had Piranha Petty? Which is our first company together, Rebecca and I. It was a fish pedicure company, and we needed to get what we thought would be a good accessory to the fish pedicure. After you've done your fish pedicure, some sort of moisturiser for your feet. And the best way to get that in bulk would be go to Salon Services.
Yes.
We went into Salon Services.
Other wholesalers are available.
Yep. We went into Salon Services, and the girl says, "Oh, we can't sell you. We're trade only." And we said to the girl, "Well, we're on the trade." And she said, "Do you have a certificate of insurance?
Public liability insurance?"
Public liability. We were like, "Yeah." She didn't really check what the actual trade was because
They
we
don't.
just
They don't.
So we now have a Salon Services card. I still use it.
Well, I
sometimes.
mean, we also had the salon subsequently,
came
but yeah.
afterwards. So we could essentially, from that point in time, buy anything
Yep.
in there.
Anything.
And this is, I mean, walking in, you can buy anything.
Now, there are different levels. So, for instance, on Ellison's, Salons Direct and stuff now, I've not been onto all the different ones. I've not been onto Salon Services website recently, so I wouldn't know. And I've not been onto Capital recently, so again, I wouldn't know. But specifically Salons Direct and Ellison's, and obviously we deal with Ellison's, they do have different levels of account.
Okay.
So a standard account like what you and I now have for Salon Services, but then for certain brands, including our own on Ellison's, you need to provide a
Insurance. Certificate.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So again, I'm just speaking from experience. I don't know what the deal is with Salon Services, but I can.
Salon Direct's the same. Sorry, Salon Services. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, I can walk into Salon Services just now and buy anything from hair dye to gel polish.
Yep.
Build a gel.
Yep.
If they do it.
Yes.
Yeah. We were actually on.
We were
the
in
other day,
just recently. Yeah.
just for a bit of a snip. And that to me is quite scary because if you are serving in Salon Services just now and someone comes in off the street and are just buying like the odd little random thing, would you not have that kind of inside you thinking to yourself, you probably don't know what you're doing?
But they're probably no more aware of the like allergy epidemic, that the staff that work there, than anybody else on the street. In terms of if you're not a nail tech, do you know what I mean?
Okay, that's a good point. I'm just thinking like the majority of people who work for us are either came as nail techs
Yep.
or they have now been trained as nail techs.
Or they are now hyper aware of the situation because we've drilled it into them.
That's a good point.
So, but if you work for, a beauty wholesaler who sells hair, beauty, waxing, lashes, nails, tinting, hair dye, everything, tanning, you don't know, you can't possibly know everything about everything. It's not. You're just there to serve the customers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're
Not to educate.
yeah, I get it.
So yeah, that is also definitely a problem. But at least you would hope.
Can you see a change? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I'm just thinking at least you would hope that there would be a certain level of expertise involved where a nail technician wouldn't assume that they would be good at being a hairdresser and a hairdresser wouldn't assume that they would be good at being a nail technician.
How many times have we taken someone for an interview and they've done hairdressing to begin with and then moved on to nails? Quite fluid.
I guess.
Okay, let's talk about the e-commerce mega giant that is TikTok. Now, I said to you, I think about 18 months ago, in fact, we were actually traveling through America at the time, and I said, oh, there's one of those new TikTok fulfillment centers. Now, we've seen an Amazon fulfillment center here in the UK and in the US, and they're flipping huge,
Oh my God,
man.
your brain can't even comprehend.
But the TikTok ones, they're double the size. And they were building one in each state to be able to to be able to control and distribute everything that's going on with TikTok. So here in the UK, TikTok Shop is such a big thing. Personally, I really don't go into TikTok anymore because I just know people are trying to sell me toilet paper.
It is really bad now. It's just sales.
So how, obviously we spoke roughly earlier on about how to integrate from our website platform to TikTok. Is it the same process? Is it relatively easy and straightforward to just sell on TikTok? Anything you want?
Yes, it is. You do need to upload a little bit more information in terms of like, they do ask like information in terms of the dimensions of the product and.
But is that not more for shipping?
Yeah, I guess. That really isn't, you can sell absolutely anything. I did have somebody message me last week or the week after we put up the last one, saying, my God, I listened to your podcast and it really got me thinking. I had not thought at all about TikTok Shop. I would have thought that there was more restrictions and things like that. And I'm now going to be more careful with what I put on my showcase, because they just hadn't put two and two together with the fact that they're promoting, say, gels on their showcase, and then non-qualified people can be just buying them because there is no restriction on TikTok.
So this person was selling gels on TikTok?
Well, they're promoting them.
Oh, so they're promoting like another brand.
So say a nail technician is promoting them, not realising that just non-qualified individuals can just go on and purchase that.
Right.
Because they're thinking, they're buying from that brand. They're thinking that maybe that brand's website has a lock on it, so then it somehow talks to the TikTok. It doesn't work like that at all.
It does not.
Does not work like that. So if you are promoting on your showcase gels, be aware that non-professionals will be buying them.
So imagine you're Jean and you're doing that because I'm guessing you got a kickback.
Yes.
Right.
Pound here or there, yeah.
Okay, so you're promoting that. But all your followers are your customers. And they start to see that you're promoting this company's gels. Mm-hmm. And Jean's thinking to herself, I'm going to get a couple of pound kickback every time somebody goes in and buys one of them. What you don't realise is that person is one of your customers. They're going to go in and buy that gel, or they're going to stop coming to you. Or, I mean, even worse, they can do that at home themselves, have a reaction, and never come back to you.
Yeah, that's the thing. And again, what these products contain in terms of ingredients, it's irrelevant whether they contain hemo or dihemo or not, because there are other chemicals in there that are also completely able to cause a reaction as well. You can be allergic to so many different things, especially when we're talking about acrylates and sort of toxic chemicals. And when I say toxic, what I mean is you wouldn't drink it, would you? No, it's not safe to ingest. So it is toxic. So yeah, they are more than capable of causing reaction, regardless of whether they have hemo or dihemo in them.
I think this was a big thing for us, which really spurred the -4 campaign, because, again, these brands, for instance, might be like, oh, they're hypoallergenic, so that means that anyone can buy them. And you, as a consumer, might be thinking, it's hypoallergenic. I can't get a reaction.
Yeah.
So you're just jumping on TikTok thinking, willy-nilly, I'm just going to go buy these, you know?
It's just not the case at all, you know. And one thing, the -4 thing definitely was part of that.
So do you think, as a professional nail tech, and you're looking at, say, for instance, a brand that you're using, and they're selling on TikTok to just anyone, do you think you should be concerned?
I mean, again, you're going to fall into two different camps. You're going to fall into the camp of, I'm really worried about allergies, and actually this has made me think, and I didn't realise that anybody could buy these products because there isn't any sort of there isn't any restrictions or checks. And that'll get you thinking and your moral compass going and your integrity, going. Or you'll be the other camp which thinks, oh, it doesn't matter. What does it matter? Let me ask you this. If your customers, your clients that you're doing nails on, are able to buy all of the products that you use to do their nails, don't you think it devalues what you do? Because it doesn't matter what you think and what you know from a place of expertise as a qualified nail technician. What that customer is seeing is that physical time that you're sitting in front of them and the products and the cost of the products that are being used. They don't see anything else. They don't see probably the expensive tools you've bought or the education that you've spent a lot of money and a lot of time on. They don't see any of that. They don't see any of that. They see your time, the cost of those products. And if they can see the cost of those products and they can buy those products, they'll go, oh, well, I'm just not going to pay for her time and I'm just going to use my own time to paint them.
There's nothing worse than when you look at, say, for instance, a gel polish, just for example, and it says in the instructions, you can get 50 sets out of this, And I'm just going to use easy numbers there. Say it's £20. So you just do 20 divided by 5 and think that's how much it costs to do a set of nails. That's a big difference from getting, paying £35 to get your nails done.
This is very true. Again, because they'll think, oh, my time isn't going to cost me anything.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if they can buy all of the products to do their own nails, it devalues your skill as a nail tech, doesn't it?
Especially if you're advertising it.
Because they think, like a lot of people very wrongly think, it's just nails.
Oh, yeah,
they don't take it seriously. It's just nails. What does it matter? Oh, it's she just does nails. Do you know what I mean? Well, it's not just nails. There's a lot more that goes into it, than just painting some gel on. A lot of education. I just think if they can buy it, then it devalues your worth as a nail technician.
So say I jump onto one of these TikTok shops and I decide to buy it for myself, buy it for you maybe because you're a qualified nail tech. How are these brands going to know? Do they care?
I guess not.
Do they do any checks?
No, surely not. It doesn't make any business sense, right? What makes business? We'll talk about business sense in a second because the way that we do things doesn't make business sense, right? It doesn't make financial sense if you break everything down to cold hard brass. Is that what I say?
Yeah.
Is that what you say?
Brass monkeys?
Brass tacks?
Brass tacks.
Whatever,
monkeys,
right? If
something
you
else.
boil it all down to the money, what we do makes absolutely no sense. Selling on TikTok Shop absolutely makes financial sense and absolutely makes business sense. It's not necessarily ethical depending on what you are selling, because you have no control of who's getting it at the end. But people can't be checking. There's no way. As we've already established, there is no way of ensuring that the person who is buying from you is a qualified nail technician. Now, if say people were checking qualifications after the fact. Imagine if you are selling, let's just say 100, okay, just for a nice round number. Let's say you are selling 100 of these gels a day, if it's Builder Gel, Gel Polish, whatever it is, right? On TikTok Shop. Now, a lot of people will be selling thousands, but let's just say it's 100, right? Let's keep the number really low and conservative. They're selling 100 a day. That means they have to employ a full-ass human being.
One more or like one?
More than one, probably, full-time to email those 100 people every single day, to ask for their certificate, to wait for them to email back, which they won't 9 times out of 10. And then if they do not get their certification, they have to cancel their order. And do you know what that does? And you wouldn't know this if you don't have a TikTok shop. That pushes your store's performance down and you get marks against your name from TikTok.
Laura hates it if we have to refund anything.
If we have to refund anything, it scores us down, it scores our store's performance down. And what that means is that TikTok won't promote it and you just get black marks against your name. So if you were sending out 100 emails, and we know what our response level is from our customers who are nail technicians, right? If you're sending out 100 emails a day, I reckon you would be lucky to get 30 replies back. Nah, fudge that. You'd be lucky to get
10.
Let's even be a bit generous. Quarter, 25 back saying, oh yes, I'm a qualified nail technician. But you've paid somebody's salary. So you're paying probably a full-time person. You're paying over 22 grand a year for somebody to do that. It makes no sense. If you have an online store, why wouldn't you just be pushing them to your online store, which is already set up with the locks and stuff on it? It can't possibly make any sense to me. It makes no business sense. Everything that you've spent, everything that you've gained, you've spent more out. And you've had to refund all of those orders. Your TikTok shop's got marked down.
But that's the thing. So realistically, let's rewind this back. You don't want your store to be marked down. So you're not going to refund those orders. So you're probably not going to check.
So you're probably just going to send them out.
So you're probably just going to send them out.
But it's the only thing that makes any sort of business sense is to send them out. If you've got them for sale without restriction, you've got to send them out.
It's not right.
It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't see it. Knowing what I know from having this, a business that's on the same platform as most of us, especially in the UK, our brands are on that platform, having a TikTok shop, knowing the way that everything talks to each other or doesn't talk to each other and the way that you have to do things, I cannot see a way that it works. I can't.
That's why I was so convoluted. We don't really promote our TikTok shop.
We don't. We've not put any work into it whatsoever because we just don't have the time. And it's hard when we can't put even a fraction of our products on there. So it's kind of like, what's the point?
Me personally, for me, it's not. I'd rather sell a load of gels to a nail tech rather than one gel to just somebody down the road.
Yeah, because you've got to think about it this way, right? So think about how many gels we sell to nail technicians and how many emails and phone calls we get a day of people requiring help. These people who are asking us for help are qualified nail technicians.
Yeah.
Who have done courses.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much worse it would be if you were just selling to anybody?
Oh, God.
Can you even, for a second, fathom? And we've had some crazy emails from qualified nail technicians.
Yeah, just the last day.
Crazy.
That's not something I ever thought about. I thought about the hassle of being able to source if they're a qualified nail tech or just not caring about it. What I didn't realise is, like, we have what we call Hotline Bling, our customer service telephone number, which sometimes, especially right now after Black Friday, is going all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're wanting help with delivery, this, that, and everything else. But imagine furthermore to that, having to deal with problems, as in, I've applied this and my nails are red, or I've applied this and something's gone wrong.
And just the the walking through things you would have to do. Like I said, we have to do that with qualified nail technicians as it is.
Talk
So
me through your prep.
people who have no experience and no knowledge whatsoever, I think you're making a rod for your own back. So, I mean, I guess whilst I'm saying, it makes business sense to sell to everybody, but does it? Because the amount of money you have to spend in staff time, customer service afterwards. But I'm saying that maybe they just don't care.
They just don't
Maybe they just don't
reply to
reply.
emails.
We ever contemplated that?
God. We should really have thought about this podcast before we started it. Jeez.
Maybe they just don't. God, what a life. The problem is here at Nail Order is we have a very, very strong moral compass.
It's weird. I hate it.
I hate it as well. It annoys me, but I can't ever change it because it's just built in.
Do you know what it is? We all have individual parts of this compass.
Yeah, we do.
And if, for instance, I was out the business for some reason, say I went off and started, I don't know, one of my new business
Don't
adventures.
say any of the names, Chris.
I can't say it. I've got so many businesses in my head. Say I decided to go do that, which one day I will. I'll leave Rebecca here. And Laura had died. R.I.P. Laura, I'm so sorry.
What happened to Laura?
Bailey was in the car with her and he jumped up on the steering wheel.
Oh my
and
goodness, he grabbed the steering wheel?
He did because he had Bailey belly and
Oh
she
no.
crashed. He's fine. He's completely fine.
Of course he is.
Dog of death. But so just in case you guys don't know, Bailey's a dog. In case you thought it was like a kid or something. So Laura's died. So it's only you left with Jennifer.
Whoa.
Right. So there's no moral compass there. So
We're going off feast.
you've got one.
You have a gel. You have a gel. No.
Is that what would happen though? Because you don't have that cohesive thing. Like for instance, I know that sometimes Laura will pull us up and she'll be like, "Right, guys, you need to rein it in." Other times I'll be like, "No, we can't do that because that's just not good business viable sense and stuff." You know?
Everything that we do is a conversation, and it's a conversation which is a pull between integrity, moral compass, what's right for the business, what's right for our customers. There's so many aspects, and that's why everything is a discussion. And Chris and I will have a discussion, and then we'll just leave it out like up in the air. We won't make a decision. This is the way it usually goes, right? Yep. You and I'll have a discussion.
On a dog walk. On a dog walk.
On a dog walk, which we don't get to do anymore, but anyway, and we'll just leave it completely open, right? So we've aired our thoughts to each other. We're letting them percolate in our own minds or each other's minds, and then we'll talk about it with the girls, and then we'll come in and we'll talk about it with people who it involves more often than not. Laura, who always keeps us right, Jennifer as well, because she's been here for a long time. So we'll come in and we'll have a discussion and we'll find out everybody else's point of view, make sure we're on the right track, we're not thinking crazy or whatever, and then we'll make a decision from there.
Yeah, again, these people deal with customers in different ways. For instance, Jennifer deals with the education side of things. So she's speaking to people who have either maybe recently qualified, who are going through the process of qualifying, or who've been in the industry for a long time and have questions. And then you've got Laura, who's on Instagram, social media, TikTok.
Feet on the ground.
Yeah, and seeing different
And then you've got
angles.
people like Jasmine, Karina, etc. The other girls, Katie and that, who are nail technicians. So sometimes involving them as well helps us come to a decision. So we're pulled in many, many directions and it is really difficult. But it again, like we've talked about so many times in this podcast already, that we are only human. And sometimes a green-eyed monster sets in, or you see somebody else doing something and you're like, oh, I hate that. Like, I wish we could do that. And there's no reason that we couldn't do what they're doing. But the reason is our moral compass would not physically allow us to do it, which is further heightened by the fact that the majority of people who work at Nail Order are neurodivergent, and people who are neurodivergent have a very, very, very strong sense of justice. So if we think something is wrong, that's it. You know, and we want justice and we want everything to be fair. Like being fair is so important. So sometimes you're looking at a competitor and you're like, oh, their website's unlocked and everybody can buy. You have a gel. And part of you wishes that you could do that. But you know that you would never do it, and you could never do it because it isn't the right thing to do.
Do you know what I like?
What?
Sleep. And I wouldn't get much sleep if I would known that I was just giving this out to everybody, because at the end of the day, it's going to come back to bite you somewhere.
Yeah.
It's going to. And I think for me right now, I think it is the fact that people can see through it and they're like, well, if I can buy off Amazon and I can buy off this person's website and I don't need to check a box or anything, it's probably just cheap crap. It might actually be a really good product. It might be a really good product.
Yeah, I think you also probably... That's actually a really good point. You probably devalue your product as a brand by letting everybody have it. If you look at a brand such as BioSculpture, They are very. When I think of Biosculpture, I think of a prestigious brand.
Yeah.
I think of
Class.
quality, class.
Demure.
And this is coming from someone who's never used Biosculpture. I have never used it, but from what I know and what I see in the outside and from speaking to nail techs who do use it, this is what I see. And the reason for that is that not only are they professional only, but you actually have to be trained with them to buy. So it's almost like an exclusive club. And we are very much inclusivity over exclusivity. So
Yeah, the brand is. You and I are not. We like going to those exclusive clubs. We like to sit in the first class lounge.
with our free seats that we got using our American Express points, as previously discussed. So yeah, if you then open it up to everybody, you're probably right. You're probably like, oh, okay, it's not very special if everybody can use it, whether they're a nail technician or not.
Right, okay.
That's a good way to think about it. Okay, but this is why I like just coming on to the podcast and like we know we've got a topic to talk about and then just letting the conversation go, because you just talk things out and work things out that you wouldn't have before.
The thing is, I have very, very strong thoughts and opinions, and they usually get shut down. So for me, it's a great place to air some of them. Also, I just want to just let you guys know what's going on today. Lucky Bees.
All right, you had hot chicken. You've got to tell everybody about it.
Man.
Okay.
We had some Nashville hot chicken before we came on the pod.
It's made you sleepy.
It's made, do you know what? It's made me sleep. I feel like my energy levels have went down. Normally, I'm full of beans. Let's go. Pod.
It's made me really sleepy as well. But mine, I did have chicken and waffles, so I had waffle. It was like carb and chicken.
Yeah. I just raw dogged it with some ultra spicy bits of chicken and a tiny bit of bread and blue cheese sauce. Oh, wow.
So off topic.
Yeah.
So
Biosculpture to blue cheese.
So yeah, it's a tough one. Is it, like we said at the beginning of the episode, is it illegal to sell products to non-professionals that don't have HEMA and DiHEMA? No, it's not. You can absolutely, you're well within your rights to do so. Is it right though? Is it morally correct? Our opinion, and remember, everybody's morals are very, very individual. Our opinion is that it is not, because we don't think it is safe. And again, there are so many people out there that think it's just nails. It's not when you're dealing with acrylates and things that cross over into the medical world and the dental world. That's what people really have to remember. I'll tell people a really interesting fact that they probably don't realise is that most manufacturers of, certainly when we're talking about countries such as the UK, EU and America, most companies who manufacture gel products started by manufacturing dental products, and usually continue to do both, have a dental stream and a cosmetic stream.
So,
most of them are both.
Just to put in context, if you go get a filling and you've got some Builder Gel on your nails, it could be from the same company. You just don't know.
Literally, it could be. A lot of people probably don't realise that. And the reason that they offer both is because they're using the same chemicals. And you also have to remember that there is an orthopedic element to dental work. It's bone, so that crosses over as well. In fact, I got one of my fillings was starting to fail, and I went and got it redone a few weeks ago. And she said to me, "Oh, you might feel it going a bit hot."
Spicy gel.
It was, and it's polarizing. I said, and when she came out, I was like, "It's so weird that you can feel that polarization." And she was almost like, "How do you know?" I was like, "Oh, we do nail gel." She said, "It's just exactly the same."
I'm glad she said that, and she said, "Oh, you just do nails."
No. She's like, "Yeah, it's just exactly the same." So we talk about that polarization that I could physically feel in my tooth. So that was unusual, but I think that's a really important fact for people that maybe people don't actually know. Might be a little TikTok that I should put up about that.
Ideas on the fly.
That's it. But yeah, they cross over. They use the same ingredients. They use the same photo initiators and things like that. So,
so we'll cover a couple of things before we get the heck out of here. Well, let's go for one thing. Do you think there should be stronger regulation?
1,000,000%. And
how do you?
Would I have said this?
And how do you do it?
Would I have said this before I owned a brand? No, which is ironic because saying this as a brand can restrict your sales, your business as a brand, but it's for pure safety. What was the second part of your question? How could you do it?
How?
Well, number one, the very first thing that needs to happen is the government needs. Well, look at this. The government is only starting to take aesthetics seriously.
That's a good point.
Literally, I think it's from next year. I think non-medics are not going to be able. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But I believe that non-medics are not going to be able to do aesthetics from next year. If they're only just taking that seriously, people that things that can cause like vascular occlusion, where your blood vessels are getting blocked, and essentially your lips are dying, or part of your nose is dying, or whatever it is. Botox can cause really serious issues as well. If that is only just being regulated, how far behind are nails?
And if you think about it, I mean, like aesthetics is, we started off in our salon 10 years ago. And it's been around, I know, a lot longer than that. But as a mainstream, I'd say 15 years.
But in our salon, we had a surgeon doing.
I know, but I'm saying that's when it became popular. Is that a thing? I would say I always refer back to, what do you call it? Made in Essex? No.
Made in Chelsea? No. Only Ways Essex.
Only Ways Essex. That's when it became, I'd say, like, it's visually on TV and you can see people getting their lips done and Botox and everything else. And they were quite open about it.
Beauty therapists only started doing it, though, not all that long ago. When we first started with the surgeon who used to come to our salon, there was beauty therapists were not doing it. It was very much nurses and doctors who were doing it. And then beauty therapists started doing it. So many people used to ask me, because I did microblading and semi-permanent makeup, are you going to get into aesthetics next? And I was like, no, because I just knew from day one, years ago, people started asking me that question. It must have been 7-8 years ago, people started asking me. I knew then that it would be banned. It will be banned for non-medics. And I knew that non-medics would never be grandfathered into it. But yeah, like you say, it's gone mental, isn't it?
So if that's the case, then I'd probably say about 10 years before nails are regulated.
I don't know.
Or do you think because if the aesthetic thing works out, do you think it'd be more easily integrated into other aspects of it in beauty and nails?
Well, no, because the aesthetics thing is being regulated from a medical point of view, and it's from what's it called here in Scotland?
NHS?
It's not the NHS. Sounds like that though. It's gone right out of my mind.
NCIS?
No, I cannot. No. Anyway, it's something, and it's being specifically regulated. Health Improvement Scotland, HIS.
Okay.
So that it? I'm sure it is. So that is, it's got somebody dealing with it, and that's because it's a medical thing.
Yeah.
The problem is that the government is run by men.
Yep.
Right.
Middle-aged white man.
And they see it as a girl's silly little hobby.
Even Alexa agrees.
Thank you, Alexa. That is what the problem is. Fundamentally, it's not taken seriously. We need to implement something like what they have in America, which is the licensing thing. But whilst I'm saying that, in America, it's far more of a free-for-all in terms of being able to buy product.
Yeah.
So whilst they are strict on the licensing, so to be able to be a nail technician, you have to pass lots of tests and stuff. Like Laka Lassie, who used to be based down the road from us, she's moved to New York and she's just completed her licensing for New York, which is excellent because it's showing that you have all of the skills you need, you have all of the knowledge on anatomy and etc. that you need. But in terms of being able to buy products, it's still an absolute free-for-all. Doesn't matter whether you're licensed or not. Nobody's making you show anything.
So I'm going to say something controversial that might actually be taken out. Do you think, because the beauty industry is essentially run by middle-aged white men, that when these regulations come in, they will be able to have some sort of say in how it's run and how it can be regulated?
What you're trying to say is will it be able to be manipulated so that it works for them? And this is something that a lot of nail technicians and beauty therapists do not realise. I think that they think because it is most nail technicians and beauty therapists, brow artists, lash artists are women. Of course, there are some fantastic men as well, but it is majoritively women. I think that maybe people just don't think about it, or they just assume that it is mostly women who run the brands and the businesses that they buy from. It's not true at all. If you go to a beauty show...
I was going to go on that one. Go on then, go on.
If you go to a beauty show, we went to the Scottish Beauty Show this year because we'd been invited and we just had a wee wander around. And it's so starkly in your face. All of these middle-aged men in suits standing around who are the ones that run the companies that sell you these products. Nail technicians don't realise.
Yeah, they're not the face of it. You see, like, as a business owner, as a brand owner, you see these people, and we've exhibited at these places before, so quite often these other brand owners will come and speak to you, and it is the guy in the suit that will come and speak to you. And they all congregate together. They all stand
They
and
all
talk
stand.
together.
Yeah, they do.
But they have, I don't know, 10, 15 women who are the face of
Sales
it.
representatives.
Sales representative. And I do think that sometimes it is that hoodwink, you know? It's women buy from women because they feel safe and they feel confident. But really, they're just lining the pockets of... I mean, I don't classify as a middle-aged white man. Do I?
I hate to say it, but you do.
I'm 43. Yeah. Is that middle age? Shut up.
I mean, I would really say middle age was like 50s these days.
Yeah, okay. Excellent. I can talk about that
Okay,
now.
no, but you're still a man.
But at the end of the day, I am very... I have changed the way I present myself. I do it through TikTok. I do it through the podcast. I am here. Most people who listen and watch this will understand that I am, yes, a brand owner with Rebecca. End of the day, she's the brains and the beauty behind this business. I just tried the forklift.
Chris is not misogynistic at all. I was going to say something there, but you don't have a beep button, do you?
A what?
Beep to beep out a word.
I can beep it out.
Okay, and I was going to say that here at Nail Order, Chris is well and truly pussy whipped.
No, I'm not.
Because for the most part, it is just Chris and a whole heap of girls. We do have two.
do you know what
we
it
do
is?
have two other guys.
Yeah, do you know what it is? But you guys need like a guy just to come in and, I don't know,
Climb the racking.
climb the rack. That's
Well,
what
we are more than capable of climbing the racking
do you
ourselves.
know what I love about you? What did I buy Laura for her birthday? What did we as a collective, but who actually bought it?
Yes, a drill.
A drill.
Empowerment.
Empower women.
What the hell was the point in the man thing? Oh, government.
Midlands, right?
Government. Yeah, so all that is to say that because men run the government, we've got really deep here, they're never going to take nails seriously and they're never going to see it as a serious thing, even though that there can be medical consequences.
They just look at that as silly girls playing shop.
Yep.
And that's a shame.
That's it. That is the crux of it, really.
So after this discussion, say for instance you're a brand or you're selling on TikTok, your website's unlocked, what do you think about doing a 360?
I mean, yeah, like I think it's always okay to go, we weren't right in the way that we were doing things. We need to make a change. I think that's absolutely okay. And I think that shows that you can take accountability. And I think that is, I would rather buy from a brand that has made a mistake and held their hands up rather than a brand that never makes any mistakes, because I think, well, what have you got to hide? Because nobody is perfect.
It's very true.
We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. We made mistakes. We hold our hands up. We change the way that we do things when we learn, because we're always growing. I think I, like personally, in terms of like integrity and morals, I feel like I've grown so much as a person since we started Nail Order. And I'm really thankful of that. I'm not thankful in certain ways because I know that it'll hold our business back and that we will never be a massive business like, you know, some of the biggest brands that are out there. But you can't have it both ways. You can't be that big and have morals and integrity. It doesn't really work.
Can't be that big and sleep at night.
You can, well, no, you can be, you got to be a certain type of person to be okay with all of that, I guess.
Yeah. I think that is a key factor. It's about how, like, for instance, you said about your growth. I mean, Nail Order's 4.5 years old. And
But not in its current state. I mean, in the gels, it's 1.
But what we've learned in that 4.5 years surpasses anything we had with the salon and even in life before that. Oh my God,
definitely. I think I completely agree.
Yeah. And I think I was thinking this morning when I was walking Bailey around the block, like, I cannot believe. So a year ago today, it was snowing outside. And I remember that day vividly, like it was just last week. Granted, it was actually snowing last week, but that's not the point I'm making. And I remember going outside and I remember taking a video and sending it to my friend Mac in Canada. I spoke about Matt in the pod before. And he, at that point in time, he didn't have snow and he was talking about having a brown Christmas.
I love it when you say brown Christmas.
I know, it's weird. Like we have a white Christmas, they have a brown Christmas, which means no snow. And I can't wrap my head around that. It's been a complete year. If I'd said to you, like, it's been a year since obviously last Black Friday, or since the Easter sale, or since, I don't know, even just about last bank holiday when we gave away thousands of cups. This, like, for us,
it's gone so. I feel like this last year has been so jam packed. And in fact, yeah, let's do a podcast episode, not the next one, but maybe the one after, like a year roundup.
Yeah, we did that after the event the last time when we were in Florida. And we got Daki.
But this is going to be so much more to put into this.
Wow, that's,
My God, so much.
yeah.
Um,
We'd love to know what you want to hear in that pod. The year roundup. What's the best selling gel,
What do
the
you wanna
best
know?
selling colour?
Ask us anything.
Ask us anything. We might not answer it.
But yeah, I think if you want to make changes to your brand, if you're doing something that actually isn't sitting comfortably with you anymore, then that's okay. It's okay to say, yeah, I don't like that anymore. That's like what we did with -4.
-4's a great one.
I don't like that anymore. You know what? The more I think about it, the more it doesn't sit well with me.
Actually, I mean, we've not spoken about this since then. -4 was launched. You and I have not had the chance to record the pod since then. -4 was taken pretty well.
Really great. I've not seen anything negative about it. In fact, it's just praise. Really, people saying, "No, this is absolutely great. Love that. Love the attention it's bringing to education around that term and stuff like that." So, yeah, I'm really glad that we did it.
Excellent. On that positive note, I think that's a good opportunity for us to get the heck out of here. Do you want to get us out of here, baby? Oh God, I said it. I'm so sorry.
God's sake.
See, that was sincere because it was.
It was in passing.
It wasn't in passing. It was because I just love you. And
You just love me because we are not able to spend any time together right now because of Mr. Dakota and exhaustion.
I'm craving you.
That was really gross. Everybody has just unsubscribed.
Or maybe they've subscribed to
I
the new
don't think they-
X-rated Neil Order.
No.
Neil Order After Hours. The boudoir edition.
Dear God, please no. When it all goes Pete Tong, that's where you'll find us.
Oh, that was applause. I was going to do the outro music. I hit the wrong bank. Oh, God.
Be sure to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's episode. Be sure to subscribe if you want to be notified next time we release another episode. And let us know in the comments below what you'd like to hear from us next.
Dear. Do you want to get us out of here, baby? Oh, God, I've done it again.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to be notified when we release our next episode, guys. No, that was terrible. Can I do it again, please? Okay.
Go.
As always, be sure to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this episode. Let us know in the comments what you'd like to see us talk about next, and let us know your thoughts on what
I
we've
talked
done.
enough of the music. Right, go again. You go and I'll do it. Go.
It's Delulu time. As always, guys, make sure you give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you would like to talk about next in the comments below. And be sure
do it again. Go.
Wait. I'm so tired.
Go.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Be sure to let us know what you'd like us to talk about in the comments below for the next episode. And subscribe. You're too loud.
Okay, go.
Okay. Be sure to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Okay, this is it. Be sure to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this episode, guys. Make sure you let us know in the comments below what you'd like us to talk about next. And be sure to subscribe to be notified when we release our next episode. Okay, not saying about the comments. Not saying it anymore. Okay, you ready?
Just do it as long as you want. I'll go in later. I won't even press it for the first 10 seconds. So proud of you, Dave.